But also President Trump has been morally clear for a decade Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. And President Trump has the talent, the expertise to be able to thread that needle.
I'm going to show you a couple of Charlie Kirk clips here, because Charlie obviously has been one of the leading promoters of MAGA. He's out there. Charlie has an incredible ability, I would say, to feel for what the younger, newer generation of MAGA and Trump is all about. Charlie went on Jesse Waters on Fox last night and talked about this moment we're in and why he is happy that Donald Trump is president right now.
Bernie Sanders, Charlie, just says he's going to introduce a resolution, the No War versus Iran Act. He says it's going to be an illegal war the president is going to take us into. Some people on the right, they're saying don't forget about Iraq. How are you reconciling these issues?
Well, first, this is the moment that President Trump was elected for. Thank God that we have President Trump in the Oval Office with this high stakes situation. Look, President Trump 10 years ago, he went down the golden escalator. And when he announced for the presidency 10 years ago to this day, he remade the Republican Party on foreign policy. He said no more permanent wars in the Middle East. He criticized the Bush-Cheney philosophy of endless quagmires. Albeit, though, he is not an isolationist. He is willing to use violent and precise force against our enemies, like taking out Soleimani or dropping the Moab, if and when necessary.
It's interesting. I was just scribbling a few things down there. Talk about taking out Soleimani, who is the Iranian general that Trump took out in Trump term 1, 45. They dropped the Moab, the mother of all bombs. And everyone was like, oh my God, what's Trump doing? It's World War III. But Trump uses policy to change reality, right? So he dropped the mother of all bombs. Everyone was like, World War III, and then it wasn't World War III. He killed the Iranian general, and it wasn't World War III. What he does is he shows his enemies, hey, I'm not messing around. And I think that's largely what he's doing here. And by the way, we have not dropped one bomb on Iran, and it is possible we will not drop one bomb on Iran. And there is no reason we should have a boot in Iran or anything else. Could we offer some material support to Israel on defensive measures? So as they're getting pummeled with rockets, which fortunately, it seems like Iran is running out of. It sounds like they have about 500 left. Could we offer some more defense so that they can't get through the shield? Possibly. Could we maybe fly a B-52 over to drop a bomb on Fordo? Maybe we could. That Trump is going to have to decide all of these things, and I will trust his decisions in these matters. But Kirk is making a good point that Trump was never a pure isolationist. I think partly what's happening is that Tucker and the most isolationist wing of the Libertarian Party thought that America first means America only. And that's not really what it means. We live in a world. We don't want to be a globalist country, meaning we have some giant thing above us that tells us all what to do and then disintegrates the nation state, right? We want to be America first, and then we can figure out ways, hopefully, to do good in the world. Now, again, you can look back on some of the military adventures of the past and say they didn't work out, but it is clearly a new world right now. The amount of work Israel has done to take out the bad guys. And now basically we're at if I could do a video game version of it, we're at the final boss. Like who's a final boss in a game that you kids are playing now? Bowser. I could have done Bowser. We're at Bowser. We're at World 8-4 in 8-bit Super Mario Brothers 1985. We're at Bowser, okay? And all you got to do, jump over the fire once, go right under his fat ass. Hillsdale College is offering 40 free online courses, and they're some of the best out there. You can dive deep into the Constitution, explore the rise and fall of the Roman Republic, or study the book of Genesis, all at no cost. But if you take just one, I recommend Marxism, Socialism, and Communism. This brand new course features 6 powerful episodes where Hillsdale professors unpack Marx's life, his writings, and the horrors of communism in the Soviet Union and China. You'll also see how Marxist ideas are showing up in American politics today. Start Marxism, Socialism, and Communism today for free at hillsdale.edu/Dave. That's hillsdale.edu/Dave. And yes, it's completely free. Here's a little more from Charlie Kirk.
President Trump understands his base extraordinarily well. He knows that his base does not want another Iraq. He does not want Libya, does not want a civil war or bedlam where the United States is left carrying the bag. But also President Trump has been morally clear for a decade Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. And President Trump has the talent, the expertise to be able to thread that needle. The generation that I represent, Jesse, the under 30 crowd, They absolutely are very war weary. Many of them voted for President Trump on college campuses because they did not want to see a Joe Biden or George Bush philosophy where we get into this endless conflict where we're sending hundreds of billions of dollars. I think President Trump will be able to balance those two things while defending our allies, saying that Iran will not have a nuclear weapon without having to deploy a single American troop or even having America involved from the sky. President Trump can get that deal done while fulfilling the mandate that the voters gave him.
All right, I'll get to that in just a second. Do we have a picture of Bowser by any chance? Do we have? That is Bowser. Oh, you're giving me a later Bowser. So that's like an N64 Bowser. I was talking about an 8-bit Bowser, but yes, Bowser was the big, let's say, steroid-laden turtle who Mario was trying to rescue the princess from. That's how simple things were back in 1985. Now we have real problems. 1985, that was the biggest issue of the day. It's like you got this Italian plumber who's eating mushrooms to rescue a princess from a turtle. That's where we were at. But Charlie's point is right. Trump can do both of these things at the same time. He cannot he doesn't reject the base by doing what is right for America and its allies. And we don't have to be heavily involved. But imagine day after. And look, we don't know what will happen. None of us have a crystal ball. But imagine day after. Imagine the regime actually falls. The Iranian people rise up. And by the way, this is not as similar when people are like, oh, but it didn't happen in Iraq, it didn't happen in Libya. Iranians have a much, much stronger their Persian culture and history is much stronger. There are more systems in place to get these people to take their country back. But imagine the mullahs fall. Khomeini is either dead or he's sent into exile in Russia or where do they send people in Star Trek? Rurapente, something like that. They send him over there. That was a hell of a reference, and I'm not even a Star Trek guy. But imagine day after. Suddenly, Iran no longer sponsors state terror. Libya then is like, oh my God, Hezbollah, an Iranian army that took over our country, is no longer part of this. Lebanon is for the Lebanese again. Jordan and Egypt sat out the war. They can have their countries for their people. Hamas will have no funding anymore. The Houthis will be like, I guess the party's over, right? And then, again, it doesn't mean that there will be no problems, but it would literally be a new way of looking at the world. And in some sense, doesn't that feel like everything that has happened over the last 20 years, technologically, militarily, all of these ideologically, doesn't it feel like we're kind of ready to flip the script on this thing? I think that's what Trump sees. I really do.